Even if what I saw wasn't the precise moment the firearm was discharged, it's almost the same thing. No, it's not. Yes, pointing his gun at the foreign man he was. That was young lad in black. Not much I myself did see. Furthermore, visual search of the premises at the time confirmed that we were the only personnel present. Indeed, alone he was an Englishman, dining all by himself. Therefore, no one other than the black man who was dead could have dispatched the Englishman over and out. Okay, so you guys didn't see anything.
Yes!
What are you focused on here? Like your other stuff? Wait, that's nonsense. Victim, Dr. Wilson, wasn't alone at all. Please, enough of these outbursts already. But there was a woman. There was a young woman at his table. You must have seen her. Everyone there must have seen her.
Objection!
If you call yourself a lawyer, then you will respect the rules of the court and speak accordingly. We are not here to listen to your fantasies. It is evidence beyond all reasonable doubt that the victim was alone at the time of the incident. The prosecution has photographic evidence of this fact. Is this a photographic print of the scene of the crime, Counsel? This means nothing. Whether or not he had a plate there, and there's no plate on the other seat, that doesn't mean he was alone. The other person could have gotten absolutely nothing. Indeed, of the table of which the victim was dining, taken by an investigator immediately after the incident, as you can plainly see, there's only one place set. Certainly, based on the appearance of this print, it would be reasonable to conclude that the victim was not in company of anyone else. This doesn't make any sense. The court will add this photographic evidence to record. A bottle of carbonated water and a steak lunch can be seen on the victim's table. I don't understand. What's going on here? It's just not impossible that no one else saw that woman. The waiter before said the same thing. He maintains that Dr. Wilson came to the restaurant alone as well. But that's not true. I saw her. I swear that I saw a woman with him. It would seem that we'll be able to telegraph the report to Great Britain on time after all. The witness testimonies we have just heard leave no further room to doubt. These are very sensitive political times. We all know the ink is still fresh on the treaty was written. To think that I, Taketsuchi Aochi, will have contributed to the amity of these two great empires is an honor. How can this be happening? The judge is ready to rule. Stand tall, Ryunosuke. It's not over yet. What? If what you say is true, there is something going on here behind the scenes. Now's your chance to expose it, to draw out the truth in your cross-examination. I don't know, Kazuma. The defense is entitled to cross-examination of the witness, but make it quick. Understood? Rules can be so embedding at times. Alright.
Yes!
No, it's not the same thing at all. For a start, I didn't fire that gun. We have a difference of opinion with that. The opinion of an uniformed officer versus that of a fledged cadet. I don't think so. Consider this, defendant. Just a moment ago, I blinked. Did you? Did you see it? Did you see me blink? How could I? And yet, it's an undeniable fact that I did blink. No, it's not! No, it's not! We can't even see your eyes. We don't know if you're blinking. You could say you blinked doesn't mean you blinked. So there you have it. What? T-shirt. Sound of fire rang in my ears, and at that very next moment, I saw you waving a gun at the Englishman. I think that says it all, don't you? Let's not forget the antique dealer witness accused in the moment incriminating position as well. Isn't it so, Koirukuta-san? I feel like there's something else I'm supposed to see in this picture.
Yes!
There was a lady there.
Objection!
As you have been at pains to point out time and time again, I feel I'm growing a callus in my ear. And yet, no one appears to have caught even a glimpse of this woman. There had been more people dining there at the time. Someone else would have noticed her. Unfortunately, it seems we've already passed 2 p.m. when it happened. Quiet time between lunch and dinner in a restaurant. I know. Of course, the place was almost empty. That's what you expect. Certainly, 2 p.m. is neither here nor there in terms of time to eat. I wonder if there was a reason why the victim was eating at that time of day, and why he was alone. Yes, Your Excellency. There was indeed a reason. There was? Oh, this is new. This was found in the victim's jacket book. Jacket pocket. What is that, Counsel? It's a medical report card, Your Excellency. It would say the victim had an appointment at the clinic prior to visiting the restaurant. Hada Clinic. Yes. Would DB appear to be an entry for the date in question? Hadi, oh no. Hadi's ancestor, oh gosh. All the connections. 19th November, noon to past 1 p.m. The very day of the incident. So the victim went for a late lunch on his appointment. The explanation couldn't be more simple. Markham felt no need to submit this evidence as there's really no bearing on the case. I wonder. What do you think, Ryunosuke? Well, it's hard to see how it could be related, really. Remember, your request for it to be entered in the court record as evidence if you think it could be useful.
Yes!
If I may, I'd like to ask that medical report card to be submitted as evidence, Your Excellency. What grounds? already heard conclusive witness testimony. Additional evidence would be extraneous. Not to mention that the victim's movements prior to his arrival at the restaurant are no concern.
Objection!
Whether or not they are of concern is up to us to decide. We have the right to explore all possible avenues. I beg your pardon. You have no authority to refuse a perfectly valid request for submission of evidence. Very well. The court will grant the defense's request. Youngsters these days, always forever asserting their rights. It's almost disturbing trend. Officer, calling add the victim's medical report card to the court record. Reading right now is new clues. Okay, so just a medical report card from Hada Clinic that was found in the victim's. You have to explore things from every possible angle, even if they don't seem relevant at first. Right, I hear you. You can conspire to prolong this trial as much as you'd like, but it's the day after the festival already before you. Or perhaps you've forgotten that these witnesses' testimonies leave no room for doubt. Feel free to reiterate for the accused, Korei Kuta-san. Being alone, he meant dining all by himself. Why do I feel like part of me feels like he's saying no one else could have. Oh, I can't present people. Like, if I could present people, like, I kind of question, like, why he's not bringing up the waiter. Because the waiter technically was there and could have done it. Excellent work, Rinosuke. We've gleaned some new information now. Well, yes, but don't feel like it changes much. I see that it brings any real discrepancies to light. I wouldn't be so sure. Let's see that medical report card you got before. Oh, you mean this? Yes, it's a brand new piece of evidence. So perhaps we should examine it in a little more detail. How exactly? Really? Let's have a bear a magnifying glass. It's one so you may examine. Press A and you can take a closer look at the piece. I already tried to do this, and you wouldn't let me. Use R up. Oh, so I can flip it around. To rotate the evidence in directions and examine it from all angles. The crosshairs are in a hunt for clues that may have been missed before. So partner, I think you should take a closer look at this medical report card. See if there isn't something to be learned from examining it in more detail. I'll see what I can do. Immediately see that flipped. Look, this is some kind of medical history. And there's entry for the day the professor was killed. Extraction of a molar with a topical anesthesia. He couldn't have eaten the steak. The steak wasn't his. Because a molar is a tooth. So if that was extracted, he probably was in too much pain with his teeth to be able to eat something like a steak. Extraction of a molar. I mean, he had a tooth taken out? Would seem so. Just before the incident, he had a bad tooth removed. Perhaps they used laughing gas. That's the most modern practice in the West for pain relief. He has a heard of the anesthesia, so it's hard to believe there's anything that can actually stop you from feeling pain. There's a cautionary note from the medical practitioner as well. Strictly no food or drink besides water for 3 hours post-procedure until anesthesia effects have passed. Boom! There's your contradiction right there. Really? Sounds like an information worth bearing in my mind. Heck yeah! This is new information. Or particulars, it changes quite a lot. So I think it's time we listen to the testimony again, don't you? Definitely. Furthermore, a visual search of the premises at the time of they were the only personnel present. Now, do I present the photography?
Yes!
Dang it. Let's press again.
Yes!
Let's see if pressing does anything different here.
Objection!
Okay. So this isn't different. Does it have to be the picture then?
Yes!
No? What the heck? Chief Inspector Satoru Hosonaga, Primary Criminal Investigation. Wait, this is a police officer's business card. Or was it? Wait a minute. Wait. Is he? Well, that's unexpected. What is it? You see a witness's name here? Satoru Hosonaga. Yes, well, business cards tend to show a person's name. Sort of the point. It's not the name that's unexpected. It's his job title. His job? Oh! Chief Inspector Satoru Hosonaga, Primary Criminal Investigation Division, Imperial Police Bureau. Inspector? What on earth? I have no idea. Let's face it, the police have a lot of power and influence. They're wielding it somehow here. With front is the Hosonaga-san is a police inspector.
Eventually.
I feel like it has to be this spot. Like, dining all by himself. Like, it makes no sense. I feel like I've presented
Yes!
I've presented this here before. I feel like I've done it. I'm gonna look at the tape. I'm gonna probably hate myself. I'm gonna put... Well, I think, what are you watering, lad? You call yourself a lawyer? No, I don't call myself a lawyer. I'm a self-representer. That's what I am. I wish I could. But first and foremost, here, I'm the accused. Ryunosuke. Everyone stumbles on their words occasionally. Under the circumstances, I wouldn't worry about it. Thanks, Kazuma. I could see it quite clearly in that cross-examination you just carried out. When you raised your hand straight up like that, so purposefully, you knew exactly what it was you wanted to say. Don't feel like you have to choose your words carefully. Just say what you're thinking. Alright, and thanks for the advice. Korekuta-san, this is a medical report card belonging to the victim. Ah, I see. And I don't see. What of it, boy? Compare what is written on this report card with your witness's statement. Something clearly doesn't add up.
Objection!
Objection! Dear me, have you forgotten my words so soon, you amateur? Sorry? What? You are to not interrupt court proceedings with your amateur drivel. But, let's see if I can explain in words you might understand. It was after 2 p.m. in the afternoon when the victim was murdered at the restaurant. Whatever he may or may not have done before that is completely irrelevant. Bullcrap it isn't. It is not irrelevant. You will see here in a moment, Mr. Aochi. But that's, remember, Ryunosuke, you don't have to use clever language or fancy words. Just make your point. Yeah, literally, just say what you're trying to say. Don't give him anything. Your Excellency, I believe we're finished here. There's surely no need to prolong this trial further. The witness's testimonies the court has heard have been clear and concise. The medical report has no bearing on the matter at all, for the simplest reason that there is no one else besides a pale-faced pupil who could have possibly done this. No. The medical report card has nothing to do with the case? Do you really believe that? What? That outburst half petrified me, boy. Of course I believe it. How could it possibly be relevant? Perhaps because Hada Clinic with issued reports card is a dental clinic. A dental clinic? Is that supposed to mean something to me? Got a tooth extracted. What's that now? And furthermore, if I told you that as a result, the victim had been forbidden from eating. Just what are you trying to say, cadet? He had orders not to eat, so what? It's all written up in here. No food or drink other than water for 3 hours. Post-procedure while anesthesia wears off. What? No, that can't. Korekuta-san. What, boy? What? As you just heard, when he was killed, Sometime shortly after 2 p.m. The victim couldn't have been eating anything at all. No. Additionally, there's more? You have assured the court with unwavering self-confidence that the victim was dining alone. But that cannot possibly be the case. Because the victim, as we now know, had just had one of his teeth extracted and was still experiencing the effects of anesthesia. Ah! Have to have me submit them. Then I'll get banned from submitting levels. Expertly done, partner.
Objection!
What nonsense, you little upstart? These are baseless accusations. Just look at this photographic evidence. As you can clearly see the plate of food at the victim's
Objection!
Use your head. That's the very discrepancy we're talking about. Or can't you follow logic? How dare you? I think it's fair to say that the tables in this restaurant case have turned. Wouldn't you agree, Ryunosuke? Yes, most definitely. So having just undergone some dental surgeries, the victim was unable to eat. Which leaves one very crucial conundrum. Who in fact was eating the pictured beefsteak? The court will hear the opinion of the defense on this new puzzle. I assume you're ready, counsel. Are we though? Well, obviously it has to be the woman we saw. Duh. Counsel. Oh, that means me, doesn't it? Alright. The answer to this question is going to be pivotal. This is the start of turning this trial around. Shows them what you're made of. Got it. So, the person eating the steak at the victim's hand must have been the victim himself. Me. Yeah, I'm totally the one. The two witnesses. And as yet unknown third party, of course. Obviously, it could only have been someone else who was sitting at the professor's table.
Objection!
You will not let this go, will you? There was no such person.
Yes!
Yes, there was. There was, because I saw her. When the incident occurred, we know that the victim couldn't have been eating anything. Yet we have evidence of a half-eaten steak on his table. Therefore, the only logical conclusion is that somebody else was eating it. We have strong evidence to support our assertion. It's clear these witnesses' testimonies are unreliable. The court decides to push through a ruling at this stage. We will lodge a formal complaint with the Ministry of Justice and pursue a fair retrial. Relentlessly. Oh my. Kazuma, calm down. Calm down. We got this, Kazuma. We got this, calm down. Kazuma. Are you insane? You would take on the government? Don't worry, counsel. I have no issue with you.
Dixie Rack.
Good grief, Madsy. What do you mean? I have issue with them. The two witnesses in the stand. What? What are you talking about? We have demonstrated with evidence that the victim was not alone. So, if it now turns out that the two of you deliberately lied when giving your testimonies, obviously you will be charged with perjury. Perjury? And, since this is a murder trial, you also be deemed complicit in the killing. Complicit? In murder? No. Hold it. Negative. There was no mention of this at the tactful meeting. Tactful meeting? I was just following orders. Uh-oh. Following orders. That's right. As the man said. Just say you never saw the gentlewoman. That's what they told us. Oh, brother. And he just realized what he said. You're like, uh-oh. Oh. What did you just say, Korekuta-san? Oh, no. You were just following orders? Now hold on, lad. I was, say you never saw the When you say gentlewoman, do you mean you saw the victim was a lady from overseas? What?
Objection!
What? What is the meaning of this? These witnesses gave false statements? Is this true, you pair? Just one simple slip of the tongue. And we just took the case, and we flip it upside down. Order! Counsel, explain what is going on here. It's painfully clear now. You tried to prevent these witnesses from telling the truth. Kazuma, we don't know if it's Aochi that did it. Absolutely not! The prosecutor knows nothing of this. Then who's behind this? Who tried to make you keep your mouth shut? Well, that's classified. So you're prepared to be tried as a conspirator to this murder, are you? You wouldn't. This can't be happening. I love how the kid's just pulling on his mustache now. Ryunosuke, judging from the ways they're reacting to this, I'd say they're sworn to silence by someone with considerable influence. Heck yeah, they are. However, I don't believe Aochi had any idea about it. What are you saying? I mean, to wield that kind of influence, there's only a handful of possibilities. It might have been the government, the military, or the police, I suppose. Well, any ideas about who might be behind this? Heck yeah! I know exactly who's behind this. We can affirm who tried to silence these witnesses, then we can continue our pursuit. So we need to name whoever it was that tried to make witnesses keep their mouths shut. Of course, we'll need evidence before we can make a firm accusation. We have the evidence. We have it! Evidence that proves whoever it was that really did wield his or her power here. But how? How can we possibly? Remember how we made progress before? We examined a piece of evidence in more detail and found a new clue as a result. Yes, that's right. Well, that's not the only evidence we have, is it? We need to re-examine everything and make sure there's nothing we've missed. There's no time to lose. I want answers. If it is proven that these witnesses have been manipulated, I assure you the penalty will be severe. Please, wait, Your Excellency. I had no idea about any of this. I swear to Shinto God. I knew nothing. Now what does the defense have to say about all this? Well, Your Excellency. There's no time to think. I'm just gonna have to close my eyes and shout out the first thing that comes into my head. Besides the prosecution, the only person with the necessary influence to manipulate the witness is Satoru Hosonaga. Satoru Hosonaga.
Yes!
Well, surely that would be Satoru Hosonaga-san. Hosonaga-san? The waiter who took the stand earlier?
Objection!
Poppycock! What possible reason would the waiter have to make these witnesses give false statements? Not to mention the fact that even a head waiter could not possibly have the level of influence. For once, I would agree with you. If, that is, the man truly were a waiter. What? If he truly were? Come on, Ryunosuke. Time to hit the court with the truth. The truth about Satoru Hosanaga's real identity, proven by this evidence. His business card, which he submitted as evidence, says he's a police officer.
Yes!
The plan of the restaurant sketched by the man in question. I agree it shows a great deal of attention to detail, but I'm not sure we can conclude anything. Sorry, Your Excellency. That's the back of the card. It's the back of the card that's of interest. I beg your pardon? Or, perhaps should I have said, the front. Yes! The front of the back of the card. That's where the telling detail is. Would somebody please explain to overexcited student is trying to say? Hosonaga-san sketched a plan of the restaurant on the reverse side of his business card. The front of that business card reveals the man's question's profession. His true profession. The waiter's profession? But that's surely... Good gracious! That's right, Your Excellency. The card reads, Chief Inspector, Primary Criminal Investigation Division, Imperial Police Bureau. What? The waiter is a police detective? I haven't heard any mention of this before. Why haven't I heard any mention of this before? The Imperial Police Bureau has immense power, absolute power, as far as regular civilians are concerned. So, witnesses there in the stand. Was it in fact the waiter who gave you your orders? Was it he who told you not to mention that you'd seen this foreign gentlewoman at the scene? Well... Hold it. Inspector Hosonaga! I was worried something like this may have happened. The moment you asked me to submit my sketch as evidence, I realized it was a possibility. The court will take this plan and add it to the court record as evidence. Oh, well... Is there a problem? Hand the plan to the court officer at once. Of course. Here you are. Yes, I remember now. He did act strangely when the judge asked him to hand over his business card. I strive to carry out investigations flawlessly. It's It's my guiding principle. But I let myself be distracted when I made that sketch. It was an unusually careless mistake. So, you mean to say, you really are a detective? But why would a detective be working as a restaurant waiter? Of course. You said I was working undercover. Undercover? Yes, there have been a series of incidents at the restaurant recently. In order to investigate, I decided to get a job there as a waiter, working undercover. Incidents at the restaurant? What kind of incidents? That would be classified police information, which I am not at liberty to divulge. You're in a courtroom. You're gonna talk, buddy. However, I can state categorically that they are unrelated to the case of homicide. Is it fraud, like on the old man? Like the old man's fraud stuff? The old man is like actually has fraud. He's a fraudulent man. He's like selling fake stuff. Very well then, Inspector Hosonaga, but you will elaborate on one point for the court. Of course, Your Excellency. We have just heard new information from the two witnesses beside you. That at the time of the shooting, there is in fact another person present at the victim's table. If that is indeed true, clearly you would also be aware of this person's presence, having served at the table in question. However, your testimony did not allude to the other diner. Therefore, I am led to assume that in your professional capacity as a police officer, you required these witnesses to be in agreement. Would that be correct? Correct, Your Excellency. Unbelievable! Yes, but at this point they have to say who the woman was. Like, the woman is the key to this case. They can't just keep her hidden, because, like... hello? We're in a murder trial here. This guy's dead. You guys are hiding someone that was there. What's going on? As I expected. As soon as I heard the gunshot, I ran out of the kitchen to see what had happened. The victim sat slumped in his chair, and beside him, a gun in hand, stood the accused student. Sitting opposite of the victim's table was a young lady, whom I guessed to be an Englishwoman. So the truth comes out. I immediately sealed off the restaurant and reported the incident to the bureau. It was then that I received some special orders. Special orders? You mean to say? Remove the Englishwoman from the scene at once. It was made clear that the Englishwoman's presence at the restaurant would be concealed. Those were my orders. What? Why are they telling him to hide the Englishwoman? But what if the Englishwoman was the killer? I think it would be in everyone's best interest not to pursue that idea. The Empire views the friendly terms of its relationship with Britain more highly than anything at the moment. An English man has been murdered on our soil. To name an Englishwoman as the primary suspect? Well, without irrefutable evidence, that would be completely out of the question. The evidence is right in front of you. The woman probably had the gun on her. The gun Rinosuke found was probably Wilson's. It fell out of his pocket or something. She shot him with the other pistol. At the same time, Rinosuke picked up the one on the ground, making it look like Rinosuke shot him. So that's the reason for the disappearance of the phantom woman in this case. But it's not right. One possibility does spring to mind. What do you mean, Cosma? UMA University is currently hosting a number of exchange students from Great Britain. And I'm fairly certain one of them, studying in the Medical Facility Research Laboratory, is a young English woman. Oh, he knows! He knows who it is! What? You're a shrewd man. I can see why you've chosen candidate for the overseas study tour. You mean, when I removed a woman from the scene of the crime, I thought it prudent to check her identity first. Then the court demands you show the name that you named the lady in question at once, Inspector. The English woman sitting at the university professor's table was a certain Miss Jesseline Brett. She is indeed a foreign student, studying in a research laboratory of UMA University's medical facility. What? What is happening here? I admit that under orders from the police bureau, I erased all evidence of this lady's presence at the scene, and ordered these witnesses to make no mention of her in their testimonies. It must now be up to your excellency to decide how to deal with the situation. Announce me not guilty. Announce me not guilty. Send everybody home, like... Come on, just say not guilty. Very well. My thoughts on the matter are as follows. Thus far, the case presented to the court has been underpinned by a particular critical premise. Namely, the victim was dining alone. However, as we've now discovered that the premise is that this premise is false, it would be a desecration of our justice system to ignore the truth and give a ruling at this point.
Objection!
But, Your Excellency, that would mean missing the noon deadline of a ruling in order to send a telegram report to Great Britain. Our own government will surely be very displeased by such actions. Calm yourself, Counsel. I will not allow the government of our country I will not allow the government of our country or any other to influence the proceedings of my court. Got a jury state duty summons? Had to report week after next. I've yet to get a jury summons. Inspector Hosonaga. Yes, sir. You will locate this Jesseline Brett and escort her to the courtroom with utmost urgency. At once, Your Excellency. But that means you'll be going against the special orders you were given from the police bureau. As I said before, it is my guiding principle to carry out all investigations flawlessly. So it won't be a problem? Nothing will get in my way. Court will adjourn briefly. The prosecution must call forth English student Jesseline Brett to witness stand. Do I make myself clear? Yes. Your Excellency. Good. Then we will have a 30-minute recess before reconvening. Why? Okay, first cases are not supposed to be this long and this strenuous. Yes, save.